everybody! So last week I released a video on the 4 worst things I've spent money on. This week is all about the 4 best things I've spent money on or invested in. And this is just what I can think of. There's probably, different ones and blah blah blah, and I've made much more, other investments that didn't work out, blah blah blah, but yeah. Number 1 is education. Not new news, but there's a lot of debate between, is college worth it and all that. And I understand it's not for everybody, but for me, financially, it propelled me to a whole new, financial class. I spent about $50,000 in cash. I had earned a decent amount of money through internships during that time also, and in total, $130,000 was for 5 years of, food, housing, tuition, and things like that. Of course, when we talk about anything financially, there is an opportunity cost. 5 years is, quite a chunk of time. Assuming, I didn't go to college and I just spent that time at, a somewhat, standard job. So I would have made, a decent amount of money that way. Of course, would have still had to pay for rent and food and things like that. But overall, the growth and income that I have as an engineer is significantly more than as not going to college. And even now that I'm not working, which is unfortunate, I'm not even using my degree, I'm not really having a huge income, the payoff still came within the last 4 years of when I could use my degree for about 3 of those years. And hopefully I go back to work and, continue to use my degree. Number 2, it was my house that I bought in Charlotte, North Carolina. To buy the house, it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, townhouse, pretty close to a pretty hip area of the city. Not straight downtown, but a decent walk to get to a pretty hip area. And so I paid about $21,000 to get the house, between closing costs, down payment, all that. The house was $163K, and 2 years later, a little over 2 years later, I sold the house, and over that 2 years, and with the selling, I made $52K back, after taxes, after fees, all of that. So that means in pretty much 2 years, I made a profit of $30,000 just from having the house. I got very lucky. The market was very high when I was selling, but I'll take an extra $15K per year on your salary. So for me, that worked out really, really well. I lived in it for a while, I rented it out for a while. Financially, it was just a really good move. I also got lucky. Number 3 actually has not made me any money at all. But money is not everything when you think about what you're investing in, just, and that's travel, right? So, and that kind of is actually the anti of number 4 in my last video, which was saying waste of money on missed flights. But this is saying that I spent probably about $15K over the last maybe 7 years on traveling internationally and within the U.S. So that's almost like $2,000 a year, which is kind of a lot of money when you think about it. But I've gone to over 20 countries, some countries multiple times, reconnected with friends, had so many experiences, learned so many things. It's something I'm really proud of. Even today, I haven't traveled in years because of COVID and being sick, but I'm still proud of all the things I did internationally and just, out of Pennsylvania. So I think it was money well spent, especially because I had, the excess money from having a well-paying job that I could get from college. And then the 4th is, I thought about not even including this, but a couple of the purchases, obviously, so to caveat all of this, the the most important things you spend your money on are things that you need to live. like food, water, you know, shelter. You know, you can get a lot of those things for free. You can get a lot of those things for low cost, but like at minimum, you do need those things. These are some of the things that I kind of splurged on. So I splurged on a nicer laptop. I used my laptop for a ton of things, you know, making these videos, watching TV, Googling, just learning things. So I am really happy that I have a nicer laptop. I probably spent a little under $1,000 on my laptop, and my car. So I bought a Chevy Cruze 2019. I bought it in 2020, so it's like a year old. It was about $16K, I think, which was more than I was hoping to spend. I was hoping to stick around the $12K. But it gets like 38 miles per gallon highway. It's a hatchback. It fits tons of things. And, you know, you need a car to get from point A to point B, to get to work, you know, to do side hustles. You really need a car. But I'm glad that the car I got, you know, it's not small, it's not big. It wasn't super expensive, it wasn't super cheap. So I think those, both my laptop and car were also good investments. So overall, I am much happier to say this video, my good investments so far in my life have been my education, my previous house, my traveling, and my car and laptop. Of course, there's tons of other things I've spent money on. Some have made money. I was an early adopter with Robinhood. I've been in Robinhood for quite some years, you know, in stocks. I started early in college. But yeah, feel free. I'm pretty like money oriented for like everything I do in my life. And even these investments were like, I chose ways to make them as cheap as possible. Like I'm a budget traveler. I had a lot of scholarships. You know, I worked really hard to find an ideal car, an ideal laptop on sale, things like that. But yeah, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions.